the mystery behind fried chili sauce, from the blender to the microscope to inside our bodies. Take a close look at the freshly fried red chili sauce. The color is tempting red, the texture is smooth but still has small grains, and there's a pool of oil on the surface. Why doesn't the oil want to mix with the chili? If we look at it under a microscope, what would the chili sauce we eat every day look like? What if in the chili sauce that we think is clean, there is actually a foreign object that the naked eye can't see? Today, we will take an unusual journey. Ready? Let's begin. Part 1. The main characters. Why curly chili? The fleshy texture isn't too thick like large, juicy red chilies, and it's not too thin like bird's eye chilies, which dry out quickly when fried. When pureed in a blender, it forms a fairly thick paste with a balanced water content. But it's not just texture. There's also the color factor. Curly chilies contain very high levels of carotenoid pigments, particularly capsanthin and capsorubin. These are natural red dyes that dissolve in oil. When fried, the hot oil extracts these pigments from the chili's destroyed cells, creating a beautiful, bright red color that also signals to our brains that this food is delicious. And finally, there's the spiciness factor. Curly chilies have a moderate level of spiciness, enough to provide a warm sensation and release endorphins in the brain, but not enough to make your mouth feel burnt. This is why curly chili sauce is acceptable to almost all palates. Part 2. The noble purpose of fried sambal. There are 3 main reasons. The first is flavor. When fried, the heat triggers the Maillard reaction, a reaction between amino acids and the natural sugars in chili peppers that creates a toasty, savory aroma and a slight caramelization. The second reason is natural preservation. When fried until the water evaporates and only oil remains, we create an inhospitable environment for microbes. Sambal goreng can literally last for days at room temperature. The third reason is versatility. It can be a base for fried rice, fried noodles, stir-fried kale, or a spread on grilled chicken. Part 3. The mystery of the separating oil. A pool of oil appears in the center of the chili sauce. The oil seems to refuse to mix. Fresh chilies can contain as much as 80 to 90% water. Water and oil can never mix molecularly without the aid of an emulsifier, and there's no emulsifier strong enough to bind them together permanently. Oil is less dense than water, and as the chili sauce cools and sits, gravity takes over. The lighter oil slowly rises to the surface. This is a completely natural phase separation. Part 4. A journey to the micro world. What will we see? Bright yellow flecks scattered among the chili fragments. They naturally contain beta-carotene, which gives them their golden yellow color. Many of the particles appear silvery and dark gray. Why? The red color of chilies is stored in tiny organelles in the chromoplast cells in the form of carotenoid pigments. When fried, the heat causes these red pigments to dissolve and leak out of the cell fragments into the surrounding oil. What remains is a thin, transparent cell skeleton that, under the light of a microscope, appears silvery and sometimes dark gray. Part 5. Uninvited guests in the sambal. Among the sea of chili particles and cooking oil, you've seen small, fiber-like objects, thin, long, and blue. What are they? First, they're fibers from the rags used to hold the pot while cooking. Second, they're fragments of the fluff from the cloth used to clean the blender. Third, they're fibers from the clothes worn while cooking. These fibers will simply be passive passengers, traveling through the stomach, small intestine, and large intestine, and eventually exiting with the feces without causing any effect on the body. Part 6. Sambal in the body. Benefits and dangers. The capsaicin in chili peppers can temporarily increase metabolism and aid blood circulation. We also get vitamin C and provitamin A in the form of beta-carotene. Both are antioxidants that help fight free radicals, maintain immunity, and maintain healthy eyes and skin. Consuming chili sauce too frequently and in large amounts can increase stomach acid production and can trigger acute inflammation, heartburn, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Section 7. Important precautions and warnings. So, who should really reconsider consuming this product. People with chronic gastritis and peptic ulcers, GERD, acid reflux disease, irritable bowel syndrome, active hemorrhoids, hypertension and kidney disease, and gallstones. It should be consumed with caution. Our bodies have a tolerance limit. Always listen to your body signals. Conclusion and closing. Remember that the pool of oil on top of the chili sauce is evidence of the perfection of the frying process, an unbreakable physical law of phase separation. Remember that under a microscope, chili sauce is a whole other world of beauty, with its bright yellow oil and silvery shells of chili cells. And always remember to maintain cleanliness, because a tiny blue fiber could be an uninvited guest who shouldn't be there. Chili sauce is more than just a food additive. It's the product of biology, chemistry, physics, and a little art. It can be medicine, but it can also be poison if we lose our composure. Eat chili sauce mindfully. Savor every sensation. See you on the next microscopic science adventure. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you for watching this video until the end. Thank you very much.